Hey YouTube, it's EvanMagician34, and I've got a deck I've been fiddling with, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to improve it, make changes, see how to make it run the most efficiently. And I could just do that on my own and show you the finished product, but I thought it might be kind of cool for you to see the different versions of the deck that I've decided to run, and we can go from there. It's Volcanics is the main theme. I love Volcanics. I love how much card advantage they generate. I like their monsters. I like how they interact with other cards. They fit with a lot of other archetypes very well. Um, So we're just going to experiment with it and see where we go. First off is 3 Volcanic Rocket. He's the guy who gets you Blaze Accelerator. We're not running Tri-Blaze. 3 copies of Volcanic Shell. It's the little bullet thing that you feeds Blaze Accelerator, but you can pitch it to anything, and then when it's in your grave, you can pay 500 to get the materials. If you don't know what all these cards do, just check out Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki, of course. 3 copies of Volcanic Scatter Shot. This thing's amazing. It's a Raigeki that deals 1500 damage, basically. It's just awesome. And they do their 500 damage however they sent to the grave. They're just like Dandelion. 2 copies of Royal Firestorm Guards, because Pot of Avarice should work like this and basically just +2 you instead of +1ing you. Guy's amazing. We're also running Zangani Searches your your small volcanic monsters and a couple other things I'm about to show you. He's a good addition. This deck's mostly defensive anyway. 1 copy of Marshmallow. We're mostly a burn deck here in case you hadn't figured that out. 2 copies of Spirit Reaper. 2 copies of Desk Koala. And I'm actually running 1 copy of Stealth Bird. This was sort of an experimental version of the deck, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to go with Stealth Bird or Desk Koala, and so I decided to go just 1 bird because he gets answered by a lot of other cards. But he's still a good burn. So I was trying with him. I don't know how I feel about it. May just go to 3 koalas. 1 copy of Effect Failure. You can recruit him with Sangan. 1 copy of Blaze Accelerator because your rockets will get it out of your deck or the grave, so you really don't need more than 1. 1 copy of Wildfire. It's a quick play Dark Hole as long as you got Blaze Accelerator on the field. That also makes you a 1000 token afterward. Quite nice. 1 copy of regular old Pot of Avarice. 3 copies of Pot of Duality because we very rarely special summon, especially during our own turn in this deck, so it's basically no drawbacks there. Monster Reborn, one of the few cards that argues with Avarice. Dark Hole, or Duality, you know what I mean. 1 copy of Level Limit Area B because we're probably going to burn our opponent anyway. And a lot of stuff still gets caught by it. 3 copies of Wave Motion Cannon. The privilege of this deck is we basically get to run many of the best burn cards in the format without having to settle for running some of the subpar ones. Wave Motion's pretty amazing. Torrential Tribute. 1 copy of Call of the Haunted, just kind of experimenting with it. It's good for calling back Rocket and whatnot, and Sangan, of course. 2 copies of Gravity Bind, didn't want to go a full 3. Once again, just kind of testing out, seeing what works and what doesn't. Ceasefire. 2 copies of Magic Cylinder, big damage card there. 1 copy of Starlight Road, because this only catches the big mass sweeps. And then Judgment of Anubis, because it catches the ever-present MSTs, which if they're not maining them, they're going to side them in for you. And then, of course, Heavy Storm. And this thing also is a burn card, so it's just perfect. The extra deck in this deck is not going to see a whole lot of use, but in the event that you do end up having to sink, you do have 1 tuner and you have Monster Reborn, of course. Here are some of the things you can go for. Shooting Star Dragon, because it's not hard to imagine us using Effect Failure to make Formula Synchron, and then all we need is Stardust, like off of your Starlight Road, for example, and you can make this guy. 1 copy of Trishula, Dragon on the Ice Barrier. It's 2 4-stars plus the 1. Stardust Dragon, we're only running the 1, you're not likely to sink for him anyway. Scrap Dragon. Colossal Fighter, these are obviously going to be Monster Reborn assisted, almost always. 1 copy of Black Rose Dragon. 1 copy of Ancient Sacred Wyvern, because, well, in a burn deck especially, you're liable to be leading on life points. Bryanek. Ally of Justice Cataster. Magical Android, life gain is always nice. Formula Synchron. Number 39 Utopia. Levier the Sea Dragon. Leviathan Dragon. And last but not least is Grenosaurus. Reason being, under Gravity Bind and Level Limit, this guy can pick off your opponent's set stuff and burn them. So while he may be a very unconventional choice for this deck, I thought he was worth trying out. And this is, of course, pre-Photon Shockwave. If you didn't already know that from the post date, which you should be checking before you comment things like that. But anyway, this is the initial build I ran, and basically what I found out about the deck was it was good at doing certain things and bad at doing others. The good news is I could get the Volcanics, I could get the Blaze Accelerator and stuff like that pretty regularly. I found burn cards. I found that my control cards like Gravity Bind and Level Limit did their job and did it well at the numbers I'm running right now, which is all really good to hear. The bad part was I found it where it was basically just me sitting turn after turn going set go, or just go, and my opponent was doing the same thing back, and it was essentially just us in top deck mode, only instead of having almost no cards, we both had like, 10 or 12 between our hand and our field, and still nothing was happening. And I was just waiting for one or the other of us to hit that card that was going to break the situation. And in a deck like this, that's obviously not where you want to be, so I got to find ways to speed it up, accelerate it, and I've already got some ideas on how I'm going to do that. But it's still rewarding to know that the controls, Cylinder, Ceasefire, Gravity Bind, things like that are all working and doing their jobs well. Because that was one of my big concerns. So anyway, until next time, rate, comment, subscribe. Check out my channel for more cool videos. And there will be a link up there for part 2 when the time comes.